Sutra 328. So we begin the declension of the Tadadis. So these are like the important ones now. Tadadis are the Tad, Yad, Etad, Idam, Adas, mainly those five. Tad, Yad, Etad, Idam, Adas. Tadadi Saptanam and Ekadvi, including Ekadvi. Tadadi Saptanam Sangsarasya Aramah Swadau Dasya Chamah Tadadistah Sah Sau. When a Swadi follows, the samsara of the Tadadis. Oh, when a Swadi follows, the samsara of the Tadadis changes to a Rama. And their the Rama changes to Ma Rama. When Su follows, their the Rama also changes to Sa Rama. So, for example, if we have Tad Yukt Su, then what happens? We apply this sutra. So the sansara of Tadadis changes to Arama. So what is the sansara of Tad?
Ad.
It's it's Ad. So it changes to Arama, and then there the Rama changes to Marama. This part we'll cover later. So when Su follows, in this case Su follows, their Ta Rama also changes to Sa Rama. So Ta changes to Sa. Tadadis Tah Sah Sau. So it becomes Sa, Yukta Su, and then Sah. So from Tad, it becomes Sah in masculine, Purushottam Linga. And then Tad Yukta Au. So again the same sutra. Tadadi Saptanam Sangsarasya Ramah Swadau. Su Adau, which means any vibhakti. So Tau, Ta and Au, Odvai Au. Then Tad Yukta Jas. Again Tadadi Saptanam Sangsarasya Ramah Ityadi. And then 312, which is that?
Krishna Nama Krishna to Jasa She.
Krishna Nama Krishna to Jasa She, and then Advamitvai Te. So Sahatau Te. Then when follows, again Tadadi Saptanam, Dashavtara Damshasora Ramaharaha Tam. Tau, Tad Yuktashas, Tadadi Saptanam. Then the same like Krishna, Dashavtarasya, what is that?
Amshashashora Ramaharaha.
Yeah, first of all that, and then the Shavtarasya Trivikamashasya Tasmasvana Pungsi, Tan. Again, so we apply Tadadi Saptanam first, and then Krishnavat, Tena, Tabhyam Tai. Then when we have this, so Tadadi Saptanam, Krishna Krishna to Smai, Tasmai Tabhyam Tebhya, Krishna Krishna to Ngase Smat, Tasmat, and Tabhyam Tebhya, Tasya Tayo, Tesham, Krishna Krishna to, what was that? Krishna Nam Krishna to Krishna Nam Krishna Radhabhyam Sudami.
Krishna Nama Krishna to Ngesmin.
No, I'm speaking of 6-3. So Tesham, Tasmin.
Krishna Nama Krishna Radhabhyam Sudami.
Yeah. Tesham, Tasmin, Tayo, Teshu. And when it is 8-1, so Tadyukta Su. So Tadadi Saptanam Sangsarasya Rama Swadau. And Sayukta Su, Radha Vishnu Janabhyam no. Vamana Gopi Radhabhyam, no. Eva Vamanabhyam Dasya Darshanam.
Yeah.
So Satau Te Tam Tau Tan Tena Tabhyam Tai Tasmai Tabhyam Tebya Tasma Tabhyam Tebya Tasya Tayo Tesham Tasmin Tayo Teshu. So this is that table, the famous one. So very frequent forms, Saha, Tam, Tena, and so on. Okay. Then this is also shown in Kashika and other commentaries on the sutra. Tadoh Sahasavan Anantayoh Yayoh. Prakriya Kaumudi is questionable.
I was
The
just
grammar,
thinking
yeah.
it's interesting because I've never seen a table with the Sambodhana for the pronouns, but now he's quoting Mahabhasha and saying that it's there.
So he himself did it as well, and he's
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah.
giving references.
It's kind of weird. Oh, you who are he, or oh he. It's interesting.
uh, I mean, at least they are sambodhanas of the pronouns. Now, sometimes we get obvious, like that e. If you remember,
Yeah.
so sometimes such obvious are also used as sambodhanas, what to speak of the pronouns.
Mm, mm.
So I think it was one of them, I, which was used in addressing, if you remember. I don't know
I don't remember
whether,
which one, but I do remember there being one. Yeah.
yeah. So the grammatical operations pertaining to the tadadis are not applicable when the meaning of the tadadis is secondary or when they are used as names. So the same concept everywhere. For at such a time, they are not considered Krishna namas. Thus we get atitadau, atitadaha, and so on. In the fifth case, when the tadhit pratyaya, this is important. In the fifth case, when the tadhit pratyaya tasi is applied, we get the alternate form tataha, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
in place of tasmat, we also get tatah by applying this tadhita pratyaya tasi. And in the seventh case, when the tadhita pratyaya tra is applied, so in place of tasmin, we get tatra. Quite frequent forms.
Mm.
Okay. So, yes, moving ahead. Now we have the word yad. We did tad, now yad. Who, which, यद युक्तसु तदादि सप्तानां संसारस्य अरामः य युक्तसु यह same way yo ye like we did in the tad so yah
Mm-hmm.
yo ye yam yo yan yena yabhyam ye yasmai yabhyam yebhyah yasmat yabhyam yebhyah yasya yo yesham yasmin yeyoh yeshu same style only thing is in tad tas taramasya tadadis tahasa was applied because that had tarama in the beginning but it is here so there is no such application. So
Mm.
in the fifth case, it becomes yataha in place of yasmat or alternatively, and in place of yasmin, alternatively we get yatra by applying the tadhita pratyaya.
So just one thing, Prabhu. This is a tasil pratyaya they say, right? But we have tasi, yeah?
I mean, in Panini and in Harinamamrit, so Jiva Goswami he modified, like somewhat.
I see. Okay.
Even Sumauja Samoshas, the two, au. So we say it au, but the Panini they say it aush.
Oh, I see.
They add that sh talabya sh in the second one so that
Yeah.
to differentiate from one two but in our case it's same so like that little differences
Hmm.
even we'll get a pratyaya in kridanta ya kya kyap pratyaya kyap so it it's written like this uh, it's
Yeah.
kyap so Panini they say it lip.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they call them
So
the Leophantas.
yeah, initially when someone would say liya pratyaya, and it's very frequent, like kritya, this and that, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what is liyap? What is liyap? Then one day I got to know this is just kyap. And Panini, they say it liyap.
Okay.
So, like our Mahahara, this is also another thing. This is mentioned by Jiva Goswami. Is known as what in Panini? Or other
Lopa.
system? Look, it's look.
Oh, yeah.
Look, huh?
Lugityanne in Vritti it said. So like that. So we did yataha and yatra. So yaha yau ye, yam yau yan, ityadi. So I think they are easy to be memorized, not that difficult. So something by Sankshodhani, I'll read it. Yad is a relative pronoun. It must always be used in relationship with its correlative pronoun tad. They should be together. Tad can be used alone, but yad cannot. For example, in the sentence Saha Krishnaha, Sa Krishna Mandiram Gachati. Okay, Saha Krishna Mandiram Gachati. He goes to the temple of Krishna. The sense is complete. But in the sentence Yaha Krishna Mandiram Gachati, Krishna Mandiram Gachati, who goes to the temple of Krishna, the sense is not complete. It only becomes complete when the correlative pronoun tad is used. As in Yaha Krishna Mandiram Gachati, Sa Yamalokam na gachati. He who goes to the temple of Krishna doesn't go to the abode of Yamaraj. In English, the relative pronoun and correlative pronoun are usually placed side by side uh, with the correlative pronoun first, as in he who. But in Sanskrit, the relative pronoun and correlative pronoun, relative here means the yat, right?
Yeah.
And correlative as tad. Yeah. So, but in Sanskrit, the relative pronoun and the correlative pronoun are usually quite some distance apart from each other, with the relative pronoun coming first. Yaha, saha. Yaha Krishna, sa Bhagavan. Something like that. Sa Swayam Bhagavan. So, in fact, in Sanskrit, the relative pronoun is used in its own clause with its own verb, and the correlative pronoun is used in its own clause with its own verb. So, literally, Yaha Krishna Mandiram Gachati. So we have Gachati, a separate verb for Yaha, and Saha, then Gachati again. Saha Yamalokam na Gachati means who goes to the temple of Krishna, he doesn't go to the abode of Yamaraj. Thus, wherever one sees a form of the word yad, one should understand that it is connected with its own verb, which is different than the verb to which the form of tad is connected. Usually, the form of yad and the form of tad will have the same gender and vachana, but the Vishnu Bhakti may differ. Some examples of uh, some examples of this are given below. Ye Krishnam pashyati, ye tesham deha kampate. Ye Krishnam pashyati. It should be pashyanti.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Yeah. Ye Krishnam pashyanti tesham deha kampate. The bodies of those who see Krishna tremble. Or more literally, who see Krishna, their bodies tremble. So ye is in different Vishnu Bhakti and Tesham is in different Vishnu Bhakti, but the gender and the vachana are same. It's plural, and gender
This
is
is
also masculine.
very clear. I used to get always confused about this. Why is it one Vishnu Bhakti, another and another
I
Vishnu?
mean, when we do samas vakya, the vigraha, so this is very much used,
Mm.
especially in
Yes,
Bahuvri.
yes, Saha. This
Yeah,
Bahuvri.
the Bahuvrihi, yeah.
So this means the Vishnu Bhakti always differ, mostly
Yeah.
there. So this is a right place to know that. Yena sarvam lokam vyaptam sa Vishnu. So Vishnu is he by whom the world is pervaded, or more literally, by whom the world is pervaded, he is Vishnu. So this is like some practical knowledge of studying the commentaries and so on.
Yeah.
Yasmin yoginaha ramante tasmai namaha. I offer my obeisances unto him in whom the yogis take pleasure, or more literally, in whom the yogis take pleasure. To him I offer my obeisances. Yasya rupam sarva saundarya murti tasmad amritam pravahati. Nectar flows from him whose form is the embodiment of all beauty, or more literally, whose form is the embodiment of all beauty. Is rupam neuter word?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's like one and one. Whose form is the embodiment of all beauty. From him nectar flows. Any other example, if anyone is remembering of yad tad prayoga? Yada
So
yada hi
many are
sarvasya.
there.
Oh, that
That's
is the
when. Yada
that's
and
yada
tada.
and
I mean,
tada.
it is, but yeah.
Different actually. Anything? Anyone? यह प्रयाति समद्भावं गच्छति. Something in Gita. यह and सह. Krishna says सह मद्भावं गच्छति. If he worships like this to me, then he will go. So anyhow, so many are there. So examples with forms of yad and tad in the feminine and neuter genders should be understood in the same way. So these were examples in the Purushottam Linga, and we should be understanding the same in the feminine and neuter genders. The avyayas formed from yad and tad also function in a relative and correlative relationship. This is shown in the table below.
Prabhuji, one
So
question.
yes. Prabhu.
This Yasya Rupam Sarva Saundarya Murti. Murti is a Strilinga or what? What is that?
Murti is Strilinga, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So here
But here it's masculine because it's a bahuvrihi. Because it's a right?
Bahuri changes, huh? I see.
Oh, but it's no, it's not a bahuvrihi here. I think yeah, it is because it's a compound. Sarva Saundarya Murti.
Yeah, whose
Yeah.
form is
One
right?
who has all beautiful forms. And then this is
That's
another
why.
bahu. Yeah.
That's why it's tasmat. Otherwise, it would be the
Tasyaha.
feminine. Yeah, tasya. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So yatah, tatah, yatah and tatah, because therefore, yatra tatra, yat, yatha tatha, in which way as in that way, so similarly. Yad tad, because therefore. Yad is always many times used as because. Like yataha is also yataha and yad, they are quite frequently used as because, being the reason being in the commentaries. Tad, therefore, yada, when, tada, then, or tarhi. Tarhi is also synonymous to tada. Yada, if, yadi, if, tada is then, or tarhi, then, yavat, as much, tavat, that much. So only one meanings are written there, the prominent ones, but most of them, they carry a lot of meanings with them. And we get to know that by reading
This
commentaries.
Yataha, from whom, is also there, right?
Yeah, from whom is there? If we read that shloka from Gita, yato yato nischalati. So wherever your mind goes, so now wherever, So lot of meanings actually. Each of yours, they contain yataha, yatotma, yata. Yes, many things. An example of yatha tatha is found in Bhagavad Gita. Vasangsa jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naroparani tatha. As similarly, sharirani vihaya jirnani anyanya sanyati navani dehi. As a person, so this is yatha. The soul similarly is tatha. An example of yadi tarhi is found in Bhagavatam. नाहं भक्षितवान् अम्ब सर्वे मिथ्याभिशंसिनः यदि सत्यगिरः तर्हि यदि then if they are speaking truth, then you may yourself witness or see it. So if then, so they are like the same prayoga of yad and tad. They are just different forms of yad and tad. Sometimes the forms of the relative pronoun yad are doubled to give a distributive sense, and at such times the forms of the correlative pronoun tad are also doubled. Famous example is yad yad acharati tad eva itarah janah. So yad yad basically whatever. Actually, we will read ahead when something is doubled, like yad or tad. So it means it's like vyapti artha. When we say yad, so it's like whatever. It's not two things, yat and yat. It's like whatever. Tat is, so it's vyapti in that particular sphere of action or whatever it is discussing about. We'll read this when the topic comes.
Basically, yat acharati means one thing he does, but yat
Yes,
all the things he does.
yes. So it's like abhivyapti, all inclusive
Hmm.
sense. This will come ahead. A more complex example is yo yo yam yam tanam bhaktah shraddhaya architam ichhati tasya. Two times. Tasya achalam shraddham tam eva vidadhami aham. So for yo-yo, they have tasya, and for yam, they have only one tam.
Interesting.
But tam is once only. So whatever. So for whatever, literally, his, and that, certainly. So like that, two times. But sometimes the forms of the correlative pronoun tad are not doubled. An example of this is found in Bhagavatam. Yad jano bhagavate vidadhit manam tat chatmane vidadhana. Whatever service a person may render to the Lord is actually for his own benefit. So yad and then only tat. Another example is found yada yada hi dharmasya glanir ityadi tada. So yada two times and tada one time. So basically the idea is clear and it was really nice.
Oh, just one question. If
Mhm.
you go to that Murti, so
Okay.
there the linga is different. Of course, we have the sutra which says the linga could be sometimes different, right? For the Visheshana, it won't renounce the linga, right? Swalingam na tijanti. Uh,
Mhm.
but how can we understand like which want to renounce the linga and which will renounce the linga?
I mean, you're comparing Rupam and Sarva Saundarya Murti,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, because one is the adjective and one is the substantive, right? One is Visheshan and one is Vishesha.
Yeah, Vishesha and Visheshana, they should have the same linga. Sometimes it says that a linga it doesn't renounce, uh, but when it doesn't renounce,
Well, usually it's the Visheshana that takes the linga of the Vishesha, correct?
correct.
And
Yeah,
so then that's the Visheshana is the one that doesn't change.
yeah, correct. So here Murti is the Visheshana, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Sarva Saundarya Murti is a Visheshana.
And it doesn't renounce its linga because it's masculine or at least feminine, one of the things, right? But the Rupam is neuter.
Mm-hmm.
My question is when it doesn't renounce, I'm like, how do I find out? Like,
I think there is something more here, and if I'm not wrong, Rupam and Sarva Saundarya Murti. Because there is also like, means I'm not recollecting the exact thing which answers your question, but one point is there which will clarify the point. It's like something is like Rupam is Visheshya for sure, and although Sarva Saundarya Murti is a Visheshana, but it is also, it's not, means it's also a Visheshana, but at the same time, it's also Visheshya in one sense. Means something in that direction actually. So I'm not able to recollect that point, but we'll discuss this point like in samasa, especially. I think it's It's Visheshana Visheshya, Krishna, Shamram Samasa. So anyhow, we'll discuss this in Samasa.
I see. Okay. So, hmm.
Yeah,
We are,
personally,
Means there is
I
there is a discussion on this point, and like so, this is Visheshya, this is Visheshana, but it is also a Visheshya. This discussion goes in this direction. So I don't want to speculate, but there is a discussion on this point. And second thing which comes to mind is the Vyadhikarana Visheshanas also. I
yeah,
mean, we have Samanadhikarana and the Vyadhikarana. So mostly we see the Samanadhikarana, so the eyes, they get used to seeing the Samanadhikaranas. But we also have the concept of Vyadhikarana Visheshanas, which means the Visheshana, it's a Visheshana, but being a noun, it's a Visheshana and but a Vyadhikarana Visheshana with a
I
different
see. So we
gender.
did not study Vyadikarana Visheshana yet, right?
Yes, we only studied Samanadhikaran, but Vyadhikarana is also there. So it seems like Vyadhikarana Visheshana, which is an independent noun in itself, but
Hmm.
it's Vyadhikarana Visheshana.
yeah, that's one thing I'm remembering. I remember reading in primers that when you have something that is being called something else, but they're two separate things.
Hmm.
Like here you have Rupa, the form, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're saying is Sarva Saundarya Murti. Or like
Mm-hmm.
in a more literal example, if you were to say, like I can't think of a if you were to say like Krishna is a lotus in
Krishna
poetry, yeah,
is a
like
lotus.
Krishna is a lotus, but it's you're saying he's like a lotus, but you literally write it Krishna is a
Yes,
lotus.
yes.
And if they
Mm-hmm.
were in different genders, then they would
Mm-hmm.
stay in different genders. Or like
Mm-hmm.
Krishna Brahma. So Brahma,
Okay.
means like Brahma is in the, Brahman, but it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't become Krishna Brahma. And so the gender is that Vyadikarana?
Yeah, also one example I gave, like the question I had before. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Yes, Krishna is the
You
Sharana.
know, yeah. So Shri Krishna is the Sharana. So Shri Krishna is although masculine, but Sharana is neuter.
Hmm.
But that one is backed by the sutra that Swalingam na Janti.
Uh,
Is it?
Because
Yeah.
we have the Radha Krishna Gatir Mama, the example there.
Well, that's the word gati. He gives
Yeah.
Gati.
gati as the example. That's feminine.
See, for Sharana, it's like a masculine, it's Trilinga, means Trilingic Shabda, protecting, guarding, defending. So it's a trilinging word, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. But still, they used the neuter one there.
Oh,
Means,
so you are saying it's adjective still it is still used in neuter. That's what you're saying.
yes, yes. So, and it's a noun, and it's a noun.
Well, it's
Means,
also, isn't it
yes,
Vyadikarana? Sorry.
yes, it's a Vedikarana. That's what I'm trying to say. Shri
Yeah,
Krishna
because
Sharanam Mama.
it's not saying like Sharana isn't exactly an adjective giving a quality of Krishna. We're saying Krishna is the Sharana, and the
So it's a
Sharana is
It's a
Krishna.
Vedikarana, right?
Yeah.
So similarly, Rupam, Sarva Saundarya Murti. So it's also a Vedikarana. Also, now if we go into detail in this discussion, then one may say that Sarva Saundaryatva is in the Rupam. So it's Samanadhikarana.
Yeah.
I mean, to take the discussion far, but
Oh,
let's means what I understand is it to be a Vyadhikarana uh, by Linga, from a Linga point of view.
so
So
we will we go deeper into this pro this Vedikarana
yes,
Samana?
yes,
Okay.
it will actually come in the samasas.
Oh,
Uh,
Samasas, huh? Okay, that's quite far.
there, yeah, it will be. There will be a great discussion in Visheshyas and Visheshanas. Uh, so like that, there will be actually.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I've just found it very useful to even be able to recognize this when I'm reading, just that you can have, and it almost always comes to be this particular thing where you have the equivocation of two different nouns. Like Krishna is
Mm-hmm.
Brahma,
Mm-hmm.
this type of Rupam Sarva Saundarya Murti. and it's become quite easy to recognize just through context of the
So
sentence. And
it's like Krishna eva Brahma.
yeah, yeah, I
Hmm.
think that's it. That's actually how they gloss it as well.
Yes,
If they
yes.
give a
Krishna.
Vakya
This is
Vigraha.
Samasa. I think this is Sham eva Rama. No, no. Yeah, I think Sham eva Rama. Sham Ram Samas. So this is one of the Samasas coming ahead. So, so like that. Okay, now we begin the declension of the word etad. So we did tad, we did yad, and this is the third one, etad. Etad yuktasu tadadi saptanang sangsarasya aramah swadav. We did that. Then tadades taha sahasau. We did that. Sa. And then Ishwara Harimitra, and we get Eshaha. Eshaha Krishnaha. So it's from etad. Similarly, etau, ete, etam, etau, etan, etena, etabhyam, etei, etas, what would be for one? Etasmin?
Etasmaya.
Etasmai, etabhyam, etebhya, etasmat, etabhyam, etebhya, etasmin, etabhyam. No, etasya, etayo, etesham, etasmin, etayo, eteshu. That's all. Fifth, yeah. In the fifth case, when we apply tadhita pratyaya tasi, we get the alternative form ataha. So ataha is from this etat.
Oh, that's very interesting. Ataha is also therefore, right? That's a different one, huh?
Yes, ataha is
It
also
literally means from this, right? And we just
yes
in English we
ataha.
say therefore.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's the same thing. It's not a different word then.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay, and atra is the locative, the seven one. Uh,
Here.
so here, so yes, like that. Esha eta vete. When I personally read these forms, these sutras, I was very glad because I would struggle. You know how this sa is made, Esha is made,
I also
but it
was
was
Yeah,
wondering. Yeah.
bro. It's actually a very delight to read this.
because they are very frequent and very much used. But when I studied, oh, they are made from tad, yad, and etad, I was like, oh, this is so childish.
Yeah, it's so simple actually. I was thinking there's gonna be some big complicated way to turn these and so many changes are there. But it's
I
very
think in
simple.
But
one sutra he covered the whole thing.
Yeah.
actually, that's the beauty of the sutra.
Mm,
Means personally, I would say that that's the beauty, that how the sutra, only one single sutra covers this big
Yeah.
word.
yeah.
So yes. Uh, okay. Then idamoyam sau iyantu lakshmyam sakasya tvaya kamiya kamau. When su follows, idam is replaced by ayam. When su follows, idam is replaced by ayam. So here Jiva Goswami doesn't say how idam becomes ayam. He just gives ayam as a nipata. Just what is the definition of nipata? Prakriti pratyayo saha adeshav. I think something like that. Prakriti pratyayo saha vadeshav uh, nipatah. Something like that. So idam yuktasu becomes ayam. Actually, we cannot say nipata because they are not removing su here.
No, it
So
doesn't remove the su, right? It just removes the other one.
Yeah.
Nipata.
idam.
And then Radha Vishnu
So Radha
Janabhyam.
Vishnu Janabhyam and ayam. Idam yukta au. So tadadi saptanam sangsarasya aramaha swadav. It becomes a. Then it says dasya chamaha. Now this the becomes ma here. And odvay au imau. Then same ways ayam imau ime, imau iman uh, till 2 3. Then idamo karamasya anashtau saho. Idam is replaced by ana when ta and os follow, provided it doesn't have a karama in it. So this is something which is added, the karama, by some further sutras, I think from Tadita. So when ta and os follow, idam is replaced by ana. So Vaishnavitvash, when a Vaishnava follows, Idam is replaced by ash, provided it doesn't have a karama in it. Sakaramasya cha kathitanu kathane. When a Vaishnava follows and there is kathitanu kathana, uh, idam is replaced by ash even if it has a karama in it. So when we have idam yukta ta, so idamo yam, what is that?
Idamoyam sau yam tu lakshmyam
No,
sakasitva.
idamo karamasya anashtau. So that sutra is applied. And idam is replaced by ana. Then like Krishnavat, uh, Krishna tainha, and adamidvai anena. So anena is formed by idam like this. Idamo karamasya anashtausaho. Anena. Anena Krishnena, anena this, anena that, whatever. And idam yuktabhyam. So idam yuktabhyam. What is this? Shit sarvasya. The replacement replaces everything. So idam bhyam sutra 331 Vaishnave twash. When Vaishnava follows, so idam is replaced by ash, and then we get Krishnasya Trivikrama Gopale, right? Abhyam. Anena Abhyam.
Yeah.
And an example of when there is Kathita Anukatana is Imakabhyam Aha Krishnor Chita Atha Abhyam Ratrimapi. Krishna was worshipped all day long by these two people. Then he was worshipped by them all night too long too. So Kathitana Katana is the repetition of something that has already been mentioned. Anukathana, repetition. So Edam Yukta Bhyam, we did this, right? Abhyam.
Yeah, we just did that one.
So why?
So here it's different, right?
Yeah, this is different.
This is this imaka thing.
Yeah, the ka inserted. So we are doing this Abhyam, and
But Prabhu, finally it comes to Abhyam only, right?
yes, it comes, but I don't know what's the point. Atha Abhyam Ratrim means it wants to show the repetition because it says Imakabhyam and then Abhyam. So I don't know what they are trying to say here. Kathitanu Kathane. Okay, what's the sutra saying? Sakaramasya cha Kathitanu Kathane. When a Vaishnava follows or there is Kathitanu Kathana, idam is replaced by ash even if it has a karama in it. So basically, even if it has a karama, so it's replaced by ash.
So when is the karama inserted? Can we
So
look
see,
at that sutra again?
first thing is that like this is the first sentence, and then this is the second sentence. That Krishna is worshipped here, and then it is mentioning Krishna is again worshipped here. So in the first instance, we use the simple one, with ka. But when it is the second instance, then we replace this sakaramasya cha kathitanu kathane, and then we turn it into abhyam.
Prabhuji, sorry, I was disconnected. Can you repeat this again? I missed
So
it.
means it's speaking of kathitanu kathane, and the sutra says sakaramasya cha kathitanu kathane, that when either there is a Vaishnava following or there is kathitanu kathana, means the repetition of the subject, that part. So that idam is replaced by ash. So when in the first sentence there is no repetition because this is the first time the sentence is being said. But when again the same thing is repeated, so then this idam is replaced by ash, and then we get the form abhyam.
Okay.
So
I
when
think
is this aka added? Because I've never seen this in the Shastra.
This is in Tadhita. This is some Tadhita element added.
But wasn't there a sutra for it earlier?
No.
Aka, iyam, miyaka, mao, whatever that is. I think we just read it.
That is idamo and so yantu lakshmyam, and the next one is idamo akaramasya. When aka is not there, then
Oh, okay.
But
I
this
see.
ka is a tadhita element and very rare actually,
So
very
this
rare.
is giving an example of a time where we should have done this. We should have made imaka abhyam again, but because we're doing it again, then we get the normal form abhyam.
Yes. So
Okay.
Krishna was worshipped all day long by these two people.
Mm-hmm.
So by these two people is already said.
Mm-hmm.
Now when we are again repeating the same thing by them, so then they used abhyam because it's kathita anukatana.
I understand now.
What is said it is kathita and anukatana is repeating what is already said.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we get
I was wondering why he gives same form in two derivations, abhyam, abhyam, final form.
yeah, this is
Because
related
ash
to
is coming in both,
Mhm.
right? Because for the first one, then you can't apply ash because there's ka.
Hmm.
But in the second one, because there's katitanu katane, katitanu katana, then you have to apply ash regardless of whether ka is there or not, because it's being repeated.
So we get abhyam here, and 3 3 is interesting. I think it's after the words idam and others, which are without a karama, this is not replaced by ice. So so idam yukta bhis, then Vaishnavit vash, and ash is there. So we prohibit a rama from becoming I. No, what was that sutra?
A
Well, we
Krishna.
we
Krishna here. A
yeah,
Vaishnava.
we
Oh, okay.
prohibit beast from turning into ice, and then beast
Ice.
turns
Oh,
into
that's a
ash.
different thing.
And Krishna se Trivikramo Gopale Ebhi. So then Vaishnavitvash, okay, idam, then Tadadi Saptanam, then Dasya Chamaha, then Krishna Nam Krishna to Nesmai, Vaishnavitvash. So we brought Vaishnava first of all, then we applied Vaishnavitvash. And then Asmai. Abhyam ebhya, asmat abhyam ebhya, and asya anayoho. So in this case, it was idamo karamasya nashtauso. Idam is replaced by an when os also follows. So Krishnasya e Vaishnave bahutve. No, Krishnasya e osi, ane os e aye anayoho. Esham idam ida ima this is ima yukt am. Then Radha Krishna Nam Krishna Radhabhyam Sudami, and then Vaishnave Bhutve Krishna se Vaishnave Bhutve. No, then Ima Yukta Sam Vaishnavitvash, Krishna se Vaishnave Bhutve Ishwari Mitra Esham. So from Idam it becomes Esham. This was quite a long one.
Mm.
And Idam becomes Asmin, Idam becomes Anayo, Idam becomes Eshu. So ayam imau ime imam imau iman anena abhyamebhi asmai abhyamebhi asmat abhyamebhya asya anayo esham asmin anayo eshu. So okay, we'll just stop here. Too many words. So please do these words because these are important. Tad, yad, etad, and idam. 4 words. So please try to do them.
How
Tad,
many more?
yad,
I think
etad,
there's only
and
one more sutra, huh?
4.
For this prakarna.
No, 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 no. We have many more actually.
Oh
Oh,
no,
this is
you're right. No, what am I saying? There's 30 more. Oh, my brain.
this just
So
idam is taking a lot of sutras, huh?
because the forms are somewhat far from the root word idam.
Yeah.
I mean, even saha is very far from tad, but it only took one sutra.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just stop here, and please practice 4 words: tad, yad, idam, and etad, and we'll move ahead tomorrow. So we'll just skip Anvaya because I've got a guest here. So really sorry for that.
No
No
problem.
problem. No problem.
Anything, any clarification, discussion, enlightenment? Do you play Holi in your side? Like out of India, do they play Holi?
Here,
Like,
Many
here,
times, but not right now.
Here in California, the Indian groups, they organize usually before COVID. They used to organize a holy party.
Yeah, COVID has really stopped all of that, because you have to get
Hmm.
close to each other and yeah.
Pre-COVID time.
Okay.
Prabhu, just one question. I mean, it is if you have time, I posted in the
Yeah.
Telegram.
Yes, yes. I wanted to discuss that even. Okay. What is that? Yatha. What is this? Yatha? Pranya.
This is Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary on 1:11. This is Anyabhalashita Sunyam Jnana Karmadhyanavritam. It's BRS.
So yatha atra anyabhilash shunyatvam विहाय अन्याभिलाष स्वभाव अर्थकता नो अर्थक ताच्छिल्य प्रत्ययेन कस्यचित् भक्तस्य कदाचित् अकस्मात् मरण संकटे प्राप्ते हे भगवन् भक्तं माम एतद् विपत्तेः साक्षात् रक्ष इति कदाचित् काभिलाष. What is this? Kadachit ka.
It's Kadachit Ka. It looks like it's a
Yes, yes.
word.
Kadachit ka and abhilash satvepi na kshatihi. So here anyabhilash shunyatvam won't get destroyed by sudden desire of a devotee, which is accompanied with the conception. I think for this we have to read the context even. Means
So basically, I mean, the idea I can tell is overall context is that he is telling why he has, what is the meaning of Anyabhalashita Shunyatvam. He's saying, Vishwanath Chakravarti is saying that if a devotee suddenly gets a desire, like, in a dying time, oh, Krishna save me, that will not take him away from
Doesn't
pure
mean he's
bhakti.
desireless, yeah.
Yeah.
I
He's not
mean,
desireless, yeah.
Acharyas, they are like so into detail that even a devotee desiring at the end of life that Krishna saves. So Acharyas, they raise a question that is it still selfishness?
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
just like Gajendra is doing, right?
so which is accompanied with the conception devoid of other desires that are deep rooted in one's nature and are habitual, such as a devotee sometimes saying at the time of life and death crisis, "Oh Lord, protect me, a devotee, from this imminent danger."
So, he uses this pratyayana, which was confusing me because it looks like a grammar or something like that. But
Which one?
this
Well, that's talking
Tathilya,
about this itta, isn't it? Yeah, I know Jiva Goswami also says this. Instead of writing Anyabhilasha Shunya, he says Anyabhilashita Shunya. He adds
yeah,
this
see, that's
pratyaya.
what I wanted to clarify because the kta pratyaya, right? How does he define here kta pratyaya? I was trying to go through this Harinamamurti Akaranam looking for the meaning of kta pratyaya, whether it is like, any meaning related to this or not.
So what is Ujjwal Prabhu saying?
I remember reading that Jiva Goswami is writing that instead of writing Anyabhilasha Shunyam, he writes, Rupa Goswami has written Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Now, I don't know what this itta means, but I've heard it said that itta is referring to this thing, that it's the natural characteristic of a devotee to call out to Krishna in times of danger, in an immediate dangerous circumstance. And it's actually a sign of devotion rather than being an indication of material desire. Because a devotee will naturally, if something, say he walks into the street and all of a sudden he sees he's about to get hit by a car, he'll go, "Oh Krishna, oh Krishna, save me." And that's actually a quality, and it's not an indication of his material desire to live or have his body preserved, because it's a part of bhakti to take shelter of Krishna. And that somehow Rupa Goswami is indicating this exception by saying Anyabhilashita rather than Anyabhilasha.
So I checked Anyabhalashita in a dictionary. The Vachaspatiam gives the split as Abhilashita. I checked Abhilashita. The Vachaspatiam gives the split as Abhi Kata.
The Kridanta Pratyaya.
Kritanta Pratyaya, right? There is a Kridanta and a Kata. So I was just wondering, is there any meaning for that Kita? Because here he uses pratyaya. I don't know whether he uses Sanskrit pratyaya he's saying, or it's the conception of the pratyaya. This part only is what confusing me, Prabhuji.
Maybe if you check Jiva Goswami's commentary on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
See, he doesn't talk about this.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Actually, it's somewhere because I personally read something on this point, like from a commentary, sure. It must be in BRS commentary of Jiva Goswami, and if not, then I think Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
This is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary.
Yeah, this is Vishwanath
And what
Chakravarti
what about
Thakur's.
Jiva Goswami?
Jiva Goswami does not talk about this point.
I don't know.
There is also some commentary by Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada on this verse.
Yeah,
What is this Tachilia?
Tachilya.
Yeah, what does this
is
mean?
habitual. I translate as habitual because
Basically, the root is tat.
The sheel
and
of
shi.
that,
Sheel.
this particular quality.
Yeah, the nature, the quality.
Yeah.
So it becomes tachilya. You know, how will you translate? Like, so.
Is it habitual? Like regularly one performs?
Yeah, actually, so it says, you know, the being accustomed to that. So like that, tat sheel of being that nature, of being that quality, something like that. So tasya bhava tachilya. Anya Bilash, I read and heard something on this by a few devotees, but still, personally, from a grammatical point of view, I'm not sure about Anya Bhilasha and Anya Bhilashita. Because when we say Anya,
Here he doesn't differentiate. He both places first also Anya Bilasha Sunyatvam. Second also Vihaya Anya Bilasha. He doesn't say even Anya Bilashita. He doesn't
because
differentiate.
Anya Bhilashita, when it is with ta pratyaya from Kridanta, so ta pratyaya is karmani prayoga. You know, Krishnena, like Maya Anya Bhilashita. Isn't it, Ujjwal Prabhu?
It means it's past tense.
Even past tense, and it's passive, not passive, karmani
Yeah,
prayoga.
passive. Yeah, karmani prayoga. Yeah.
So it means, what's the difference philosophically? That is not clear to me till now, like reading and hearing many stuffs on it, like Anya Bhilashita and Anya Bhilasha.
Well, if it was Anyabilasha Shunyam, then it would be a Bahuvrihi Samas, wouldn't it? One who is devoid, one who's Abhilash, all
Yes.
other Abhilashas are Shunya or zero. But when it's Anyabilashita Shunya, well, it would just mean he has previously given them up.
Okay. Makes sense.
So maybe we could look at it in the one who's Kashchid Bhaktasya Kadachid Akasmat for no reason, Akasmat Marana Sankate, in fear, when obtaining the fear of death, Hey Bhagavan Bhaktam Mam, Hey Bhagavan, I am your Bhakta, Etad Vipatte Sakashad Raksha, protect me from this danger. So Akasmat, what is Akasmat here? For no reason? Or that generally means, the way I've heard that translated is suddenly, just like immediately. So yatra anyavilasha shunyatvam.
Akasmat is pre-planned, not pre-planned. It's like sudden, all of a sudden.
Yeah. Like without cause, in the sense that like you didn't have time to think about it. Tachjila pratyayena.
And also, I'm not very much sure about the sentence construction here. He says, Yata atra anyabhilasha shunyatvam. And then what is that? Is that a subject? And where is the verb? And these things is Very quite confusing in this,
Abhilasha Shunyatvam is the subject.
right? Then pratyayena. Well, so is it the instrumental?
Vihaya means giving up, having given up.
That's part of samasa, right? Or no?
No. Vihaya
That's
is like a gerund. What is it? Like gatwa,
Mhm.
but
So you
because there's
cannot use
pratyaya.
that's the avyaya, right? You cannot use that in a samasa. You can
No,
kridanta, you can use, right?
no, it's not a kridanta. Well, it is a kridanta, but you can't use it because it's an avyaya. You can't use vihaya. You can't use gatwa, these things in samasa, as far as I understand.
Oh, I see.
Or labdwa, having attained. So this is vihaya yata atra anyabhilasha shunyatvam vihaya. Here, having given up anyabhilasha shunyatvam, just as here, having given up anyabhilasha shunyatvam, anyabhilasha swabhavartaka tachjilya pratyayena. The I don't
Because then it is
understand.
confusing, right?
I don't
means no.
understand what this.
See, yatha is like yatha is an avyaya. Then anyabhilashita shunyatvam is taken from the verse because it says anyabhilashita shunyam. That's being put in a different sense with different form, let's say, and that's anyabhilasha shunyatvam. Now, beginning with vihaya, it's explaining anyabhilasha shunyatvam. As in the
Oh, you are saying
as in
like that.
the as in the anvayas.
Oh, I see.
I don't
You know,
understand.
see in the anvayas, like Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada, what he does, he gives a word from the Mula, the Sanskrit shloka, and then in the parenthesis he explains it. The gloss. So similarly here, Anyabhilasha Shunyatvam is from the verse,
It's
and
being
then begin,
explained. That's what you are saying.
and it's being explained beginning Vihaya onwards.
Okay, okay. At least that. Okay, that's a little easier to understand.
I don't understand. Well, then what is vihaya? What is being given
Vihaya
up
is
then?
Given up.
Anya.
Because normally you wouldn't write that in the beginning.
No, I mean this is Sanskrit.
I know, but it's still, what is the subject of what's being given up? There's nothing that else that can go with vihaya. Because anyabhilasha swabhavartikata chilya pratyayena is in tritiya. You can't be
Mhm.
giving that thing up. There's nothing else for vihaya to go with other than anya abhilasha shunyatvam.
Right.
Anya
Okay, can you
abhilasha
put?
shunyatvam vihaya.
Um,
Because he seems to be giving it up when he calls to Bhagavan with a desire for his protection.
But Prabhuji, the next one does not make sense in that sense, right? Anyabhilashicha swabhavartaka tachilya pratyayena. It says that deep rooted, because of the deep rooted desire, if you take separate vihaya from the next samasa.
no,
So we need
I'm a
to
little.
know how to break that down. But I don't see any other place for vihaya to be utilized. There's no other word that you can for something that can be given up. There's literally nothing else in Dvitiya that can be given up in the whole sentence until we come to Bhaktam Mam. So we have to understand what this Anyabhilasha Swabhavartika Tachilya Pratyayena means.
So I was thinking if it is vihaya is part of the samasa, then it is quite easier.
But
Vihaya
it's
and
not.
abhilasha.
It can't be though.
Means I'm still sure that Vihaya is connected to the Anyabhilash, which is afterwards, and I'll see to it. Means Vihaya
But how it
Anyabhilasha, and then it continues with the sentence ahead. Having given up the Abhilashas, then the sentence continues. Means
I don't
it's
know.
not all that you need a Ditya Vibhakti for Vihaya.
Well, but we need
Meant
something. We need something that works. And with that samasa, we're saying by the whatever pratyaya, by the quality tachilya pratyayena, is swabhavartika, anyabhilasha swabhavartika. Yeah, I don't know how to gloss this samasa. It's a very complicated one. Maybe we can look at Vanuswami's translation quickly. and see how he's translated it?
Yeah, Maharaj translated it the same which Anyabilashita and the Pratyaya is being done, right? Like that he has translated it. But that's what my question is.
Can you?
Uh,
I don't understand.
Okay,
Can we
let me
just
just
pull it up?
share you.
Do you have it?
Let me share you this one, right? Oh, I cannot share.
Because I've always heard it like that. I've never looked at it myself, but I've
See,
always heard it that
this
he's
is the one, right? Instead, see here, in the verse, the phrase Anyabilasha Shunyam has not been used. Instead of the phrase
yeah.
Anyabilashita
So
Shunyam has been chosen. So this is the translation by Maharaj. But I just was wondering how it was translated like that.
but is this translation for the same Sanskrit which
Yeah,
you?
yeah. So this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. So this is
can
Vishwanath
you
Chakravarti.
just copy and paste this, and we can put it next to the Sanskrit, so we don't have to go back and forth.
I think.
Just this particular part.
Uh, what is the next part here after this page?
This one.
Okay, yeah, this is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that is also there.
Mhm.
So let me. I have just
Because then it makes sense. Anyabilasha shunyatvam vihaya. He didn't use that. He used anyabilashita.
In the verse, the phrase "Anyabhilasha Shunyam" has not been used. Instead, the phrase "Anyabhilashita Shunyam" has been used. Now, where is this sentence written here?
Yeah, so that's what my is that the pratyaya? Is it what is taken like that? I don't know.
I don't know how to break this anyabilasha.
This means devoid of other desires which are as deep rooted as one's nature.
Anyabilasha svabhavartaka tachilya pratyayana. It's above my pay grade. The rest I can understand, but that one samasa I can't break. And
Hmm.
Banuswami has taken a very non-literal way, just to try to get the point across,
Hmm.
it seems.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll check this the sentence beginning here till here,
Sure,
especially.
Prabhuji. Yeah.
I'll check with the seniors and we'll let you know.
Mm.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bros. Hare
Hari.
Krishna.
Thank you, Bruce.